Welcome to the Mite Grow Project. This is the first official episode where science meets strawberries meets what the is this on my pineberry leaves? I started this project because since $300 strawberries exist, I want to master how to grow them. In this series, you're going to watch how I learned through all of my documented mistakes. I picked two strains. One is a classic strawberry sourced from one of the most delicious ones I ate from a local farm. The second is pine berries, which to be honest, taste like watered down strawberries. They look cool though. Now why I picked these two drastically different strains is because if I could prove that there is a clear correlation in sweetness and vigor for all of these mediums, then this knowledge is more likely to be applied to most varieties. These strawberries will be grown and analyzed based on their Brix values. So with that said, in the beginning, it was winter. Temperatures were dropping and my plants were cold. So the first thing I needed to do is set up an indoor grow tent to mimic the outdoor conditions. Now I suffer from SAD, which is one of the reasons I needed a bright light to sit under, and gardening in the winter doubles as a source of vitamin D. I used my Apogee MQ500 to match the light intensity outside to my settings inside. The hours of lighting set matched the sun's day and night cycle, and since my basement is cold and dry, this is as close as it's gonna get to the outdoor settings. Eventually, I'll wean these plants into the optimal conditions, but for now, I want to ease them in and I don't want to shock them. Now let's talk about bugs. One of the worst mistakes you could make as a grower is to bring outdoor plants inside. This absolutely means that you'll be bringing bugs inside too, even if you can't see them. My house has already become Bugs Life 3 in the past, so learning from my mistakes, I know prevention is key. So the first thing I did was brush the exterior of my pots with a stiff brush. Then I completely doused the exterior with hydrogen peroxide. This is gonna kill any of the mold spores that may be on your pots. Third, I removed all the dead foliage that's on top of the soil, and in the process, I inspected and pruned off all of the ugly leaves. Right here, you could see some sort of bug damage. This is likely thrips or spider mites, and because I see this, everything I just did is not gonna be enough, and we're gonna have to take even more precautions. The last step I'll take is hurricane level leaf blowing. I put this leaf blower on max speed and I went in. The idea is to blow off all of the larger egg-laying bugs, and I know I'm not gonna get them all, but this will help minimize the population. Next, I put a smaller tent inside my main tent as an extra level of quarantine. And then I went medieval and literally set up some bug moats. Yup, I flooded these saucers under the plants. Then I placed a stand on top to prevent any bugs from crawling to the floor and outside to infect my other plants. Then I sprayed everywhere else with rubbing alcohol just to make sure there was no survivors. But I still wasn't done. My ultimate defense is beneficial nematodes and predatory mites. Beneficial nematodes SF. This stuff looks like powdered milk. You might think there's nothing alive in it, but the nematodes are microscopic little worms that'll eat all of the smaller eggs and larvae in the soil. Now, under a microscope, I inspected these plants even closer, and sure enough, there were spider mites. These are the absolute worst, and I see so much misinformation online on how to get rid of them. Predatory mites work, but you have to make sure you pick the right ones. This is the one that everybody recommends, but it doesn't live outside of 68 and 81 degrees. I ordered these before, and all of them died. Stop listening to the garbage online, right? You gotta kill all the bigger mites first, like I did with the wind. Then apply these spider mites. This is what I need. Neoscelius phallosis, whatever. See, these phallosis ones survive anywhere from 48 to 85 degrees. That's a much larger range than the ones that everybody's recommending. And as you'll see later on, yes, I got rid of them. I went overkill and I put 1,000 on each of my plants. With the moat set up, both the good mites and the bad bugs have no choice but to go to war. Kill them all! Now it's just a waiting game. I'm gonna let these 2 plants adjust for a week, and in the next episode, we're gonna take 3 to 4 runners of each so we could compare 4 different mediums as fairly as possible. If you have any questions on spider mites or bug proofing, leave a comment. For the best tutorials on how to grow strawberries, check out my site, eviegrows.com.